Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me.
Hi there. So I really didn't want to do this at all. I don't really want to engage with Thomas Markle anymore. But as I said, unless there are some extreme things, and there are extreme things, but only because there are some things that are kind of important in this. I'm going to do a couple videos now about the Shadys. I'm working on one that really was supposed to be the first in the series, but I need to kind of, with the inauguration today, I kind of got sidetracked. So I'm working on that one, and in the meantime, I just want to address some very basic things, and there are, like I said, some things that are a little bit disturbing. So let me get into this. Now, I have been looking at the Markle Foundation, and this is a foundation. It's another one of those think tanks. They try and donate money to these WEF funds. I mean, go see the videos. There's like 4 videos so far, and it looks at ways that this Markle Foundation may or may not be linked to Harry and Meghan. So far, I have found that Harry and Meghan are involved with this foundation, even if it's through kind of like, 2 degrees of separation, because the Markle Foundation heavily finances the Aspen Institute, and obviously we know Harry is a part of the Aspen Institute. I am looking to try and make a further connection between them. I haven't found it yet. But what's interesting to me is that in September, we hadn't heard a whole lot from Thomas Markle Jr. for a couple months. I mentioned the Shady Bunch, and that's the video I'm working on. You'll see. But I mentioned it. All of a sudden, he shows up, threatens me, and then disappears again. Now, I am looking at the connections in the Markle Foundation. And lo and behold, Thomas shows up and proves a distraction. Do I think Thomas is smart enough to figure this out? No. But someone amongst them may be cunning enough to throw him out there into the world as his crazy self in order to distract me, because I haven't been able to look further into this Markle Foundation because I've been so busy dealing with Thomas Markle Jr. nonsense. Something to think about. But another thing worth thinking about is Thomas Markle Jr.'s reaction when someone the other day asked him about the Markle Foundation. Just as an added bonus in this clip, the beginning part, he's talking about Meghan and how she is continuing to push her false narrative, even though the whole world knows it's false. I just found it ironic and thought you might enjoy it.
That's borderline fucking psychotic, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is something seriously wrong with that when you're going to continue to sell something that everybody knows is bullshit. I don't know. It's called The World According to... This show should be called The World According to... What, I just had it too. It was perfect. Damn it. The World According to the son-in-law of Sussex. The brother-in-law of Sussex. Yeah, it should be. Oh, let's see. Boo. Hoo. Flying loves, lots of love. Lonnie Anderson, are you and your family related to the Markle Foundation? What the hell is a Markle Foundation? I don't know what that is. Never heard of it. We're not related to it. I bet me gain fucking money magnet is.
As this buffoon will correctly point out in one of the later clips that I have been watching the Markle family for a while now. And because I've been watching them, I'm starting to understand Thomas Markle Jr.'s tells. And one of his tells when he is lying is that he won't look up at the camera. And other than that, he pretty much does nothing but stare at himself in the camera. So the fact that he would not look up while answering that question, I don't believe him. I'm sorry. I think he knows exactly what the Markle Foundation is. And the other thing that's curious is, how did he know it had anything to do with money? How did he know if he doesn't know what it is? And yet he connected it to Meghan and money. I find that to be suspicious. I may be the only one. Make of it what you will. Now, next up, the strikes, the copyright strikes. Oh my goodness, this man is delusional. Here we go. We got another clip from another one of Thomas Markle Jr.'s rants.
That getting rid of TikTok, it reminded me of, like, you know, Harry and the Aspen Institute, right? Which you know, God knows how much money he funneled from Archwell into there to control what people say on the internet. You know, he wanted to silence people on the internet. You know, him and Meghan don't like anybody who talks about them. And everybody knows that. Everybody who's on YouTube knows damn well, God forbid you say anything bad about Meghan and Harry. Oh boy, the Sussex trolls and their big, you know, they come after you and da-da-da-da-da, you know. But, you know, funny thing is, you know, you get a couple strikes, couple copyright strikes, they take your channel down. All you got to do is report them. So, yeah, pretty easy. On YouTube, I know somebody who's got a couple already, and one more, the thing goes bye-bye, bye Felicia.
In case there's any doubt that he is discussing me in that little clip, don't worry, there's more later where he clarifies. But what he is saying is that he has done 2 copyright strikes, and when you get 3 copyright strikes, you lose your channel. And he's saying that he has given me 2 copyright strikes. This is a screenshot of my dashboard showing my copyright strikes at this time. There are no strikes on your channel. You can see right there. That's my little red emblem. That is my current account, my current channel. And there are 0 copyright strikes. 0. Not a single one. Now, interestingly enough, there isn't anything that he can copyright strike. The only one that he might potentially, and not really because I'll tell you why in a second, would have been the short that I posted. You know, the one that I posted before he went live, and then he went live and said that that short was taken from the live that he hadn't even done yet when I had posted it. So I don't really know how the heck I, managed to time travel. But the interesting thing is that is a short. And honestly, it's getting no revenue because the foul language in it is so bad. It got restrictions and they said, sorry, you can't monetize this. I didn't post it to monetize it. I posted it because he's a horrible human being when he talks like that. So that was the purpose of posting it, and it is a short. Shorts have very different copyright rules. Even if I wanted to not monetize it, which that's the whole thing. The problem with a copyright is if you try to monetize someone else's work. Now, shorts, you can use copyrighted material. It's kind of because they're automatically shorts. You can't be using too much of any material if you're making a short. And so kind of by its own parameters, it limits the use of copyrighted work. So as a result, you can't not attempt to monetize a short. A short is automatically monetized. I can't turn it off like I can on a video. But as I said, with or without me turning on or off the monetization, that short is getting squat because no advertiser wants to be their ads connected to that slew of profanities that are in that short that were also directly from his stream. So that's why it's absolutely ridiculous to suggest I posted it to get myself a ham sandwich, considering the fact that I posted it just to show who and what he is. Apparently, Thomas Markle Jr. does not understand what fair use is. And it's interesting because I have noticed that whereas most responsible YouTubers include some sort of disclaimer, some sort of mention of the Fair Use Act at the beginning or at the end of their videos, he never does, perhaps because he's unfamiliar with the Fair Use Act. What is fair use? Fair use is an affirmative defense that can be raised in response to claims by a copyright owner that a person is infringing a copyright. Fair use permits a party to use a copyrighted work without the copyright owner's permission for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. Shall we do it? Can I do that again? I'm going to do that again. Fair use permits a party to use a copyrighted work without the copyright owner's permission for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, or research. Every time I've used bits and pieces of clips of his recordings, I have included commentary, criticism, and reporting. As well, some can say, as teaching and research. So I'm pretty sure I'm well within the guidelines of fair use. Now, granted, fair use can be determined on a case-by-case basis. I'm okay with that. I am perfectly okay with putting my videos up and seeing whether or not a manual reviewer would consider those fair use. Whether or not I am taking his work, which this is what copyright issues are, right? Taking his work, doing nothing to it, and benefiting monetarily from it. You cannot do that. Okay? So I'm pretty sure none of my videos could be replaced on his channel in their entirety and be said to be identical so that I would be costing him money by monetizing them. And that's the whole point of fair use. It's to prevent, for example, pirating of movies, using songs that then can be downloaded off YouTube and then people can have the songs for free without paying for them. That is the purpose of the copyrights. Purpose of the copyright is not to prevent people from reacting or commentating or criticizing or researching or reporting. Those are things that are all allowed, because by doing any of those things, by definition, you are changing the original format, you are adding to it, and you are changing it so that it is not the same product. Now, did he try to strike it? Probably, maybe, who the hell knows? I haven't a clue. But you know, when you sit, if he did, they failed, because I have no copyright strikes. Nobody has issued a strike against me, because he can report it and he can request it and it can still be denied. So I don't know if he knows that as of now it's been denied. He will probably appeal it. He will probably try and get a manual review. I'm fine with that. Go ahead. Let it happen. Because what I am doing is commenting on what he is doing. I am changing the format of it, and that is allowed. Can one of the people that are so quick to defend this wonderful humanitarian please inform him how the copyright works, how the strikes work, what fair use is, and just, give him a little bit of a heads up. Save us both some time. As I said, there was another clip, and there is, and I'm going to play that for you as well, because this is where he makes it clear that it was me that he was talking about when he was talking about the copyright strikes he claims I have. If you'd like to, while you see this clip, please keep an eye on the right-hand side of the screen where you will see the chat. And you will see who Thomas Markle Jr.'s new moderator is. Yeah, the person who moderates for his live chats. Yeah, he comes and joins in.
Hi, Thomas. Gertie Rude has been attacking you on her channel. Who isn't attacking me? Just like, and her community page, apparently you're making this for when criticize you. You know what? Well, these people, right? So this is all they have. Here again, this is all they have. I got sent videos yesterday of that certain one channel that just is dying for attention. Every time I make a show, every single time I make a show, she's probably recording me right now to get another copyright strike on her channel. Go ahead, take my material, post it like it's yours. Do it. Go ahead. I'm just going to make another strike against you. So these people just like, oh my God, Tom Markle speaking his mind. So they built.
I'm very curious. How is he going to cover this when my channel doesn't disappear? How is he going to backtrack his way out of this? He just said I'm one strike away from losing my channel. Well, what is he going to do? What is he going to say when my channel doesn't go anywhere? Is he going to try and prevent his subs from knowing that my channel still exists? Reminds me of Megan. She continues to lie about things that are provably a lie, and she doesn't let it go. Well, apples and trees.
Their YouTube channels on the fact that I talk about things that I'm allowed to talk about, like my family, right? My family, not their family, my family. So it's actually kind of pathetic that all these people talk all this shit. All these people they have nothing better to do, but that's okay. That's what YouTube's about. And I suppose they'll do anything for likes and they'll do anything for this and that. But as far as like hurting my feelings, that's impossible. They can sit there and they can talk, and they, if they want to slander me to the point to where it's legal, we can go there too. So they can shoot their mouths off and bury themselves, and then we'll take it from there.
Does anyone want the pleasure of telling Thomas that in order for it to be slander, it would have to not be true? Like, a slander is lie, right? You're lying about someone. Telling the truth about someone is not slander. And how is he going to prove that I am quote unquote lying when I have the videos of him saying the things that I say he said? I would really like to see his moderator, maybe take him under his wing, teach him what fair use is, explain to him what slander is, explain to him what I can and cannot say as exercising my right to free speech. Exercise.
I do have some pretty good backup now, so it's okay. All right, what do we got here? All right, opportunity actually do look alike. All right, Thomas, Trevor, what's up, buddy? Oh, I got you. Hold on. Did you want to come on, Trevor? Where is that? I can't find it.
Tried to keep my cool and just do my own thing, but I really hate being lied about. You want to tell me something I have done is wrong, that I got something wrong? Guinness, here's your bone. Go get your toy. If you want to tell me something I did was wrong or that you don't agree with it, fine, go ahead, tell me that. I'm okay with it. But don't say I did something that I didn't, because that I'm not cool with. And as a matter of fact, Thomas Jr., who's done a live like every day for the past 5 days, guy hasn't been around in a couple months, and now all of a sudden we can't get rid of him. He said that every single time he does a video, I'm there doing a video right in response. Well, let me see. The last, 4 days? Last 4 days of videos, we have one on Tecumseh's curse, Pretty sure there wasn't anything about Thomas Markle Jr. in that. In fact, it's quite a good video. It talks about the presidential curse, which there is, if you look at the presidents that have died in office, they happen every 20 years. And so it's a story about the curse, why they believe it was Tecumseh. It's a fun video. Check it out if you haven't yet. But clearly, nothing about Thomas Markle Jr. Then I did What Were the Smoke and Mirrors For, which talks about Meghan and her ridiculous photos. It talks about her and the showing up at the fire. I would like you to know that you just heard Guinness whining, and he now has a treat. You won't hear him anymore because he just got a giant soup bone. That's what they're called. They're Rachel Ray's soup bone treats for dogs. So the dog whined a little bit and he got a treat. I'm pretty sure, Thomas Markle Jr., I do not beat my dog. The only thing that I do to torture my dog, and I'm honest about this and open, I've said it for a while now, when he needs a haircut, I dye his little mohawk. It's doggy dye. Don't get worried. It's pet safe. It's intended for dogs, and it dyes his hair. And he walks around like a goofball to remind me to go get his hair cut. Okay? So I'm pretty sure this pampered pup is the least abused dog on the planet. He walks around in a freaking hoodie half the time. Do you really think? Ridiculous. Anyway, back to my videos. You have the Smoke and Mirrors, which was all about Meghan and what she's, don't look here, look over there. Nothing about Thomas. The Stanley Brothers, again, a historical video. It was actually about the Stanley Brothers, which, if you know anything about the War of the Roses, Thomas Stanley was Henry VII, Henry Tudor, the first of the Tudor line, his stepfather. And that was telling the story of the Stanley Brothers. The Stanley Brothers were known for their tactic to try and play both sides and to always be on the winning side's team. They would split their loyalties, and it was kind of a very elaborate game of good cop, bad cop. The War of the Roses, when people were quickly switching alliances all the time, it was their way to make sure that one of them was always on the winning side. Next video was discussing Samantha's interview with Dan Wooten. This was an interview that Samantha gave after Meghan appeared on the morning show, the CBS morning show with Jane Pauley. And in it, she repeatedly criticized the whole concept of the Parents Network, criticized censorship, and I compared it to a previous interview that Samantha did where literally she said the exact same thing that Meghan said, and I found that hypocritical. And interestingly enough, that video, as people who are members will be able to attest, that video has been uploaded for about a month now. I just only made it visible to people who are non-members the other day. I came across 2 interviews of Samantha's, and so I did the videos for both of them at the same time, but then didn't want them back to back with each other when they actually uploaded. So I was just waiting until it was time, and the day that it was supposed to upload, it did. So, as my members will tell you, that's been there for about a month, and that just happened to be the day that I scheduled to post it. So, sorry, Thomas, still not anything to do with you. And then the next day, it was the American presidency. Now, that was the day before the inauguration. In it, I discussed what I consider the 5 watershed elections of American history. In fact, I believe, now I'm going to see if I can remember which ones I said. I said the election of 1800, the election of 1828, the election of 1896, the election of 1980, and the election of 2024. Yesterday, it was the mega of the Markle Foundation, which is the first 4 episodes. And yes, there will be more, but those were the first 4 episodes of my look at the Markle Foundation. Still, nothing about Thomas. So in the 6 days since Thomas Markle Jr. has not been able to keep his mouth shut and has been talking about me nearly nonstop, not a single one of my videos was about him. 1 short. And that was all. And that was just to show people his obnoxious rant against me. So the obvious question is then, who is it exactly, Thomas, that is begging for attention? Because I was sitting here doing all of these videos on multiple topics, none of which included you, And you were instead including me in every single one of your lives. I don't know. Sure seems like it was you. But do you know what I am interested in, Thomas? I'm very interested in the community guidelines for YouTube. Did you know that one of the community guidelines, because I assume since you didn't read the Fair Use Act, you probably aren't familiar with the YouTube community guidelines, but the one thing you're not allowed to do is actually tell your subscribers not to listen to someone, to unsubscribe to someone, to report someone, any of those things. That's against the community guidelines. It might be a good idea to ask your moderator, Thomas, about community guideline strikes. You see, that's a thing that you can get if you have a YouTube channel.
Everybody knows. I want to tell everybody what's going on right now while I have a chance. So, live that I did about an hour and a half ago, I want everybody to know that recollections may vary. Immediately took video and posted it on our channel. For what? I don't know. Maybe to get me pissed off at her or get a rise out of me. So people will go look at her channel and give her likes and subscribes and views. And I'm telling everybody right now that this person made it her personal mission to attack me and my family months ago. And I'm serious, months ago. And when I found out about it, of course I retaliated a little bit. But that's what I do because
nothing to fucking stand on except for their own imagination. And one of them is our recollections may vary. I mean, seriously. You just bit off way more than you can chew, because I am going to hammer you so fucking hard until you cry and jump off a cliff. Mark my words.
I'm going to read to you the exact post that I put on my community tab in case you didn't see it. And unfortunately, at the time, you would have been able to see that the hours that my short posted and his live posted, you could see it. I didn't screenshot it. Maybe someone else did. I'm sure it's out there. I had absolutely no reason to do what he's saying, but whatever. Folks, I am a damn miracle worker. I managed to record one of Junior's lives and post clips of it all an hour before he even recorded it. I posted a short 6 hours ago, and he seems to think it's footage from the live he did 5 hours ago. Pro tip, watch something yourself and don't just take your wackadoo girlfriend's word for it before posting and making an ass of yourself. Now, after falsely accusing me of having nothing better to do than stalk his channel and post things immediately after he does, it was actually footage from 3 days ago, he left a party. You could see that. I intentionally left that in the little short that I just showed. He left a party to go whine to his subs about it minutes after learning I had posted. Folks, I just couldn't make this stuff up if I tried. But I'm going to help Junior out a bit. He seems to need to brush up on the Fair Use Act. The short is barely making a nickel. Advertisers don't want to associate with the foul language. But I can't turn off the monetization on a short. I take it down, but not when it makes him so damn happy.
she has no right. She's obviously hired by Megan, and it's really sad and pathetic that she has no life, and she's that depressed and miserable of a person to sit there and wait till I go live and then pull stuff off my channel to put on her channel. Our recollections may vary. Yeah, that's what she does. So she just did that from the last live that I did about an hour and a half ago. So I am asking everybody from this point on that do not subscribe, do not look, do not like, do not even view her channel. She has been out to get me and my family for months, and she has no right. I have a right to defend my family, to do comedy, and to be who I am. She is just so jealous because I'm a member of the royal family and she's not. And that's the way it goes. But people send me other videos. Every time I make a video, this, whatever she is, whatever it is, does this to me. So do me a favor, spread the word, tell everybody you know, do not buy into her recollections may vary, because it's bullshit. I mean, it's sad, it's pathetic, zero life, and she's been out to destroy and say bad things about my family for months and months and months. And we all know who she's hired by, obviously. But I just wanted to point that out. And guaranteed, she's going to pull a video off of this, post it on her channel. Oh, look what Markle Jr. is doing again. Da, 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 da. Don't go there. Don't like, don't look, don't even acknowledge that channel when she's doing this to me for likes and subscribes for her channel. It's ridiculous. So anyway, when this thing gets cranked up, in about a half an hour, 45 minutes or so, we'll go out there and we'll go live again. But
now, these are the last 11 lives that Thomas Markle Jr. has done. And, ironically, all 11 of them included rants against me. The last two, there on the bottom, those were 3 months ago. Since then, he has come back and done 9 lives, all of which included rants against me. So, I'm sorry, I did 6 videos, none of which mentioned him. He did 9 videos, all of which mentioned me, and somehow I'm the one stalking him? I mean, it's delusional. And why is it that I am playing his words? He's not doing that. He's not playing my words and telling his subs how my words are incorrect, how I got the story wrong, how I'm not telling the truth. No, he's just insulting me. And he's keeping his subs away from me because he can't risk them hearing the truth. I mean, it's so ludicrous that I feel like I'm going around in circles. Who are these people that are following him? I mean, I know this is going to sound horrible, but when I think about it, I imagine these are the same women that are like pen pals to death row inmates. You know, they're the type of women that they're just happy for the attention, and it doesn't matter who's actually giving them the attention. It's rather sad. Now, I would imagine that Thomas Markle Jr. is not used to spending time with women who aren't depressed, because, you know, if they're with him. So I kind of thought it might be a good idea to... Junior seems to think I'm depressed. I'm not really sure where he's getting that from. So I wanted to play for you a portion of a video that I know they really enjoyed. And you can tell me whether or not it sounds like someone who's depressed. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for the kind people of the UK. And with that, he closed the door on his home for the final time. And we got into my Cadillac and drove to the Los Angeles International Airport. And as I waved him and Tom Jr. goodbye, I felt sad, but also hopeful that finally Thomas Markle will find the peace he deserves. As he told me, it's a new year and time for a fresh start. Bon voyage, Tom, and good luck. Let me see if I have this right. Thomas Markle Sr. has decided he's going to pick up and move from his home in Mexico, and he decides today's the day he's going to do it. And so he packs everything up and then calls a reporter in LA, and she decides to drive straight down to Thomas Markle Sr.'s house, watch and presumably help him pack all his things. Well, Tom Jr. just apparently sits there. And after the interview, he closes the door on his house in Mexico for the last time. They drive, the three of them together, go through the border and drive back to LA, where the reporter drops Tom Jr. and Tom Sr. off at the airport, even though they don't even know where they're going yet, because Thomas Markle Jr. said maybe Southeast Asia. So he doesn't have anywhere to live right now. And so this reporter went down to Mexico, picked them up, and dropped them off at the LA airport at LAX, even though they don't know where they're going. Is that what we're supposed to believe here? Because to me, it sounds an awful lot like Tom Jr. currently lives in LA, or Tom Sr., one of them, maybe both, who the hell knows, lives in LA, called her over to do this interview, to play the pity card, and then she went home, and they stayed exactly where they were, wherever that may be. I mean, and did the journalist go down there to help him pack his memories? You know, the photographs he lovingly put into boxes, you know, except for the ones he burned. What about them? Did the boxes stay in Mexico? Did he put the boxes in the Cadillac? Did she take the boxes with him to the airport where they go, and did she drop them off at the airport with the boxes and no tickets yet? What about the photos that he decided to burn? I mean, is the fire still going in Mexico? Did she bring them to the airport and drop them off with the boxes and the luggage? I mean, these are important questions. Inquiring minds need to know just exactly how this farcical story played out. Oh, my Lord. I am certain that most of the women that Thomas Markle Jr. spends time with are probably depressed, and he probably can't understand that hysterical laughter usually is not a sign of depression. But let me, clue you in, Thomas. Yeah, I'm not depressed. I know you want me to be, because remember, you want to make me so miserable that I cry and throw myself off a cliff, but I'm nowhere near that point. So thank you for your care and your concern, but so far you're not doing very well on your intended goal to hammer me. And let's be clear, what I am doing is exercising my right to free speech. He is not allowed to censor me simply because he doesn't like what I am talking about. I, believe it or not, have not tried to censor him. He's the one ranting and raving like a lunatic, and I'm not censoring him. So if he is allowed to do and say and act the way he is, I am certainly entitled to give my opinion on public figures such as the Markle family. And just because you wanted to get your little dig in, and that was very sly of you there, Thomas, you had that line, "Oh yeah, it's a good thing she's exercising because I heard she needs it." Yeah, you had that prepped ahead of time, and you were actually upset Fiona wasn't letting you get out your witty reply that you had all prepped up and ready. And you looked like a fool because everybody could tell you had that planned ahead of time and just were dying to let it out. You really did just make a pathetic fool out of yourself. But now, one last thing before I go. I want to talk about where the Markle siblings were born. Because if you go to Samantha's book, presumably the most reliable source, Samantha here in her book telling us about when she was born. And she's talking about living in Chicago. And she says, most likely he would have returned with a Vietnamese wife like many soldiers did. that has a whole other connotation now. But luckily for me, Thomas and Rosalind gave birth to me on November 24th of 1964. I came into the world like a speeding train with a megaphone attached to the front of it, and oblivious to the radical social change that was going on around me. My brother was born 14 months after I was, in September of 1966. It was a good thing that our grandparents offered to help with anything they could, because my parents would definitely need the extra food and diaper money. Although my dad was doing well at his job, he didn't make a lot of money at first, so we took an apartment on the south side of Chicago that was affordable. So, clearly there, she's saying that they were living in Chicago. It says also down here, that period went by quickly and Dad progressed steadily up at his job. So within a couple of years, we moved to a great old brownstone building in North Chicago. So, clearly, Samantha and Thomas Markle Jr., according to Samantha, were born in Chicago. Now, this is Samantha's Wikipedia page, and it says Samantha Markle, also known as Samantha Grant, is the older paternal half-sister of the Duchess of Sussex. She was born on the 24th November, 1964, in Los Angeles. Interesting. Now, what about Thomas? Here, Thomas Wayne Markle Jr. is the older paternal half-brother of the Duchess of Sussex. He was born on the 17th of September, 1966, in Los Angeles. Now, these two Wikipedia pages, Wikipedia, there's no oversight. People can edit it. So, given the situation that we have so far, we have Samantha saying Chicago and these Wikipedia pages saying Los Angeles. Well, Samantha, since it's her book, she trumps that, right? So we must assume that Samantha has it correct and Wikipedia has it wrong. So I wanted to look for other places that could corroborate that it was indeed Chicago. So I went to the IMDb. So for Samantha's, her birth name, Yvonne Marie Markle, it says she was born November 24th, 1964 in Albuquerque. Now, IMDb, like Wikipedia, people can make changes to it, but I'm pretty sure that unlike Wikipedia, there is an actual vetting process where you have to be approved. People are the only ones who are able to actually change information in the databases. But okay, so it seems like someone got it wrong, right? But then we got Thomas Markle Jr. and see what his says. It says Los Angeles. So we've got 2 for Thomas being born in Los Angeles, 1 for Samantha being born in Chicago, 1 for her being born in Los Angeles, and 1 for her being born in Albuquerque. So still, of all of these, you still have to go with Samantha, right? Because Samantha, this is her book, it's her autobiography. She is telling the story of her family. You would presume she knows where she was born, as well as where her brother was born. And do we notice, according to this, Thomas Markle Jr. is 5'9", and Samantha's 5'10"? I'm not even going near there. Whatever. But then you have the problem when you get this.
You know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Yeah, and you make your bed, you got to sleep in it. So, no. Let's see, man. I'm from Philly fan. Yep, that's right. Philly, my home state. Pittsburgh's my team. Philly's my team. Born in Harrisburg. Lived in Newport. Eagles all the way, baby.
Samantha says they were born in Chicago. Wikipedia says Los Angeles. IMDb says Samantha was born in Albuquerque and Thomas in Los Angeles. And then you have Thomas coming out saying he was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Their stories never match. They don't match each other. They don't seem to know where they're born. I mean, this is pretty basic information. Everybody should know where they were born, even in the right state. But you've got literally the 4 corners of the country. Chicago in the north, Albuquerque in the south, Pennsylvania on the east coast, and Los Angeles on the west coast. Something for everyone? Like, what is this? You know, I mean, this is why I talk about this stuff. This is why I comment on the things that they say. Because when they say things, half the time it's not true, and the commentary just says, hey, this is the other times they said something totally different. The one thing that seems to be a constant is all these people talk all over the place. So it's not even like they're being deceptive and they kind of keep themselves under the radar. No, gosh, no. These people put their crazy right out there. center stage. And I know Junior must have a couple minions listening in. Can you guys please find out and have him confirm or deny whether or not he understands the reference to in my name? Our recollections may vary. Does he know about the Queen Elizabeth quote and why that makes perfect sense for a Megxit YouTube channel to use that in their title, their channel name? Because he doesn't seem to get it. So thank you very much for listening. I look forward to reading your thoughts down in the comments, and I hope you all have a great day filled with love, laughter, and of course, dancing.